when nobody else can tell us what to be. Free is when the TV ain't controlling what we see. Told my niggas I need you. Through all the fame, you know I stay true. Pray my niggas stay free. Made a few mistakes, but this ain't where I wanna be. Before I'm judged by 12, put a 12 on my feet. Told my niggas I need you. Stay up, I know these times ain't true. Real life was
Just
free.
glad I was cunning, just got a pad out in London. I keep stacking my money, I need a ladder by summer. 8K shots, niggas ducking straight shots. Been a top dog, that's before the kid died.
Welcome to Culturally Biased, where we discuss everything in the culture for the culture. I go by the name of Shiz Pim.
It's your boy O.
Episode 35.
KD. That's what we're gonna do. I mean,
The finals over. Guys.
it's over, but we still gonna do basketball players KD.
No, finals is over, guys.
Relax, boy.
We're done with that. What we got? Episode 35, man.
35.
Special episode this week.
Yes.
Switching it up in regards to the web series we use on our YouTube channel, the Culturally Biased YouTube channel, The World in Color.
Yeah.
Where we record in a barbershop, talk about topics in regards to the black culture. We brought that to the podcast this week.
Yes, sir.
So what we'll be doing is we'll be going around discussing a number of topics and sharing our insight from the collective that we have here in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
How's your week, champ?
Pretty good. Can't complain. Bunch of overtime. That's all.
On the grizzle?
Yeah. Yeah. What about you?
You know, busy. That's it. Quit my job this week. You know.
Land on your feet.
Hey, we'll be all right.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Congratulations.
Want to introduce our guest?
Yes, sir. Let's go around. Introduce our guest.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Mike. I'm here. Let's make some magic.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. No, I ain't got too much rap, but you know.
Come on, what?
Mark Mitch, back again.
Mike, we gotta
Stars
start,
growing there.
let's start giving Mike the studio fit.
Yo, he ain't getting no clap this week, Rick.
That's crazy.
He is not getting no clap this week, yo. He split that 3 ways.
Guys, split that 3 ways, cuz you've been over here too much. Gotta get that bill right.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Damn, so I gotta cut that check,
I
cuz.
got $5.
Damn, a pill?
All right, man.
Them tolls crazy.
It may seem like we in New York.
That's how people be acting, dog.
Oh,
That's how niggas be acting.
listen.
You sound somebody like Jersey. They be at the tolls crazy.
You like
Crazy.
Jersey.
It's like 8 of them.
Bro, there's one soda in Philly, cuz with the soda tank, there's one
Right,
soda.
right. 8 tolls.
All right, Mike, listen, we're going to start with you, man. You had a topic that you had threw out there earlier this week, man.
Let's get into
Let's
it.
open it up with that.
Was talking about the cops that made the racist tweets. I mean, not tweets, but Facebook posts. And
Right.
I see the paper today.
32 police officers have been suspended.
Yeah, and I mean, we don't need 32 police officers off the street,
Right.
but I mean,
We do if that's
what
their
I'm about to get to.
viewpoint.
They don't
If
even
they,
seem
if
like
they,
they on the street.
right,
But
and if they, I mean, if they the bad apples or whatever, yeah. But then you gotta understand now they got a rookie class coming in,
Right.
which means that now these are about to be new officers that don't know the system or don't know the streets or don't know the community like that. And
Right.
that gets to my point is if you want to have these officers, they have to be for the community. Like
Right.
I've never been in a neighborhood where people knew the officers by their name. I mean, even if they not walking the beat or whatever, but like, you know, hey man, this officer such man, cool dude, man. He don't harass us or give him no problem. Any time you know a cop is because
He harassed
he
you.
a bad
harass
cop.
he the one that harass you.
Yeah.
Yo, that's such and such. Make sure you don't have anything in your pocket.
Murdoch.
Straight. Yeah, like Murdoch.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it's a bad look for the city because we don't need that right now. Any type of negativity with the police we don't need. Like it's no reason for us to walk our streets and know that those cops don't have our safety or our value our lives. They don't have that in their best interest. And it is upsetting because I've seen, like, not me personally, I have run-ins with the cops as far as I'm pretty sure everybody been pulled over or something like that. But I can count on my hand how many crazy instances I had with the cops, but I know everybody, I know a couple of my friends, especially in this room, had crazy run-ins with the cops. Like, and for example, I don't know if you're gonna get to this, but when we was down Old City that day,
Yeah.
and the cop told us to go back to North Philly.
Boy, you know, from a can of paint.
And he knows from a can of paint. White cop told us,
That's
go
a
back
bad
to
job.
North Philly.
Crazy,
It was
that
crazy.
The, crazy that the black cop was right
The
next to
black
him.
cop,
and just watch him say
Puerto
that
Rican,
shit.
and pointing in his face like, you gonna let him say that shit? Nothing happened. They push us. They wanted to start a riot with us. They pushing us. They bull pulls out a taser and he pushing us down the block while we try and go. So I'm not surprised that these cops did this,
Right.
but like I said, we don't need that. We don't need it in the city.
I think we do need it in regards to it's in the open now. You can't hide from it.
Mhm.
You know, and that's the only thing they were doing. They were hiding,
Right.
and now you're exposed. So that's the silver lining in this. It's bad for this, but the silver lining is now it's exposed. You can't
Yeah.
hide, and you know now as a society and as a police department, you deal with it. You know,
Right.
and don't we have to deal with it the right way. You know, and the right way is not, oh, you're done, exile him and all that, because
Yeah, that's basically what they
right,
did.
right,
They
because
that's what they did.
you know what's going to happen now. More people like that are they're going to hide even further
Mhm.
now. Oh, I know what happened to them, so I'm not going to do it. No, come on now, expose who you truly are.
Yeah.
You know, seriously. So.
Yeah, I'm glad that it was exposed. So now we know. But like I said, it's been going on. I mean, we really didn't need
Right.
the social media thing to know that there's cops out there that don't have our best interests.
Yeah.
Like the cliche thing is good cops and there's bad cops out there in the world. Like we know that, but
I think they got to do a better job on like training these guys, and it's like a culture shock. You just drop them in a place where they've never been, and they can't handle it. They can't handle police with black people. They don't
I'm
understand.
about to say, they don't even understand.
They don't understand us. So it's like, and like this how we gonna handle y'all.
Yeah.
It goes back to even like slavery times with the what is the officer and the overseer.
Mhm.
Same thing. You know what I mean? So it's like you gotta change it. You gotta change it up. You know what I mean? I was thinking like, yo, put more black people in as cops in their neighborhoods, but they're like, it doesn't matter that because they adapt that
Culture.
that mentality as well.
So to your point, the one thing I think that when you look at being a police officer, you see the worst of people on a daily basis, right? So if you've been a cop for 10 years, you've seen the worst of people 365 days a year for 10 years, right? I think one thing that would be beneficial is if it was a tenured position where you couldn't go past a certain, like a president could do 8 years
Right.
as a president. Being a police officer for 17 years and seeing the worst of people for 17 years, bro, you're going to be jaded. I don't care who you are.
Right.
So getting those people off the street at some point, just because, like, bro, if you're let's say if you're in the 35th, you just in a rough district
Right.
for eternity. You start not to look at the people as people. You look at the people as statistics, and you start profiling.
yeah, everybody is criminal.
It's why you can see why we see cops of color just fall in line because they see the worst of people time after time. I just don't think you should be able to be a police officer for 20 plus years. I don't think you can go from serving in the military in Afghanistan, come over here and get a job without addressing that trauma that you had from being in active military to policing civilians.
That's a great point.
It just don't.
Yeah.
It just the two just shouldn't go together.
It
The
has
two-
to affect someone coming
absolutely.
from that place and trying to come here and still have the same manner. You're coming from a place just from the military view. You're coming from a place where It was children 7 years old carrying AK-47s to now 7-year-olds carrying basketballs. So are you able to objectively, view
You're not.
this in the right way? One thing before I let Ryan chime in, I see him ready to go, is the greatest, not the greatest, bottom line, before you do anything in life, the question is, do you have integrity? So you could be blue, green, black, purple, fuchsia. Do you have integrity? We could worry about anything else after that, but that's the nucleus. Do you have integrity as a person? Right? Because if you have integrity as a person, right, now when you take this guy who has no idea of what's going on in the ghetto, you're able to work with him. He has integrity. So he can now come down Hudson Park and meet Orion.
All right, let me just cut you off. It's not there's no such thing as a ghetto.
Right.
A ghetto does not exist. It's a neighborhood the same way if that cop was in the Northeast. It's just a neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
It's a neighborhood that just happened to have more criminal activity, but it's a neighborhood. It's not a ghetto.
So what's the right term? Urban?
It's a neighborhood.
Urbanized?
It's a neighborhood.
Suburban?
I do.
It's a neighborhood.
We should
I
have
got
more
you.
police that are of the community.
Because I'm just saying, if you start saying being able to use terms like ghetto, I don't have to view you as a human.
Yeah. Something comes
They
with
don't
that.
police you that way in the
Right,
suburbs
right.
because they view you as a human. Oh, he just having a bad day. But if we make terms like ghetto okay to use,
Right.
it's easy for
I
you
don't
to just
live
not.
I don't live in the suburbs. I live. You live in a ghetto.
Right.
That's the
That's-
difference.
you
I
just-
got you. Yeah.
Trying to remove those terms
Yeah.
is probably a good place to start. Now, before you go, the media also plays a part in this, right?
Facts.
A bigger part than any activity that happens in our neighborhood, because we all know most things happen discreetly these days. But the constant images that have been displayed on TV since the early 80s, if you never interacted with someone like that, you only are basing it on what you've seen off TV.
That is
Right.
a fact.
So we probably have to hold the media
Yeah.
to a higher standard than we hold the police officer, because he only basing it off what I see on TV.
That's awesome. That's great right there.
I mean, it's a show called Cops, right? And when you look at the show called Cops, they're showing a criminal getting high.
Yeah.
You chase him over a fence. He stole a car.
That's showing the worst of the worst.
Exactly. Never
Right.
the worst shit they can possibly can show.
That's the image projected.
That's media, though.
Yeah, right.
Cops has been on for 30 plus years. First 48 has been on for 15 years. Why do you need to see how a murder investigation takes place
Right.
as a civilian? There's no reason why. But I can stereotype the guy with dreads because on First 48 it's always a guy with dreads.
Yeah.
That is a fact.
But it comes back to what I said. I feel like you should put more people that are understanding of these neighborhoods in them situations.
Listen here, but if you could cheat on any test, you could cheat any system.
Right.
You could cheat any system. It's all.
What you mean by that?
Like I'm saying, if you say you give them training, right? I could pretend. Most of them can pretend that they can coexist with us or interact with us, but have a total opposite agenda.
Now if we make
But what's their agenda? Like you just gonna come down here and just fuck shit up?
Bro, if I just came from the military, I'm still trying to catch the same wreck I was catching in Afghanistan.
For some.
And you look
For
for
some.
some, right?
Right.
And you look at a
That's
lot
a
of.
sick individual, then, dog.
No,
But no,
it's
bro,
the
he was
reality,
he was
right.
he was trained to
Yeah.
kill.
Yeah. He's an assassin.
Bro, the military invested
Yeah.
over his time of active duty
Yeah.
thousands of dollars into his training for him to be a killer.
And now he's a cop in our urban neighborhoods, trying to use whatever those training tactics
Absolutely.
or whoever he sees fit that isn't giving him the proper respect as an authority figure, and that's what has to stop. Like you said, we have more police officers of the community that understands the community, or at least understand what goes on in the community. I think it would be a least better portion of the officers in the city. Like you got a guy coming from Bucks County somewhere further where none of this stuff that he sees goes on like this. So he feels some type of authority complex to where you gotta respect him. And then
Right.
But that's why I made the point of like you shouldn't be able to be a police officer for a certain time. Because look at the statistics, right? Over 50% of police officers' marriage end in higher rate of divorce, right? It's 50+% of them commit domestic violence. Police officers, right? Bro, it's trauma that takes place with that job, bro.
That's a fact.
You out there in the field for 10 years. Listen, I can come outside and I can go in the house. He got to go to work. I have a rough 40 hours sitting at a desk.
Right.
That, bro, he's affected by that.
Without a doubt.
You can't be out there in the field that long. It's
Right.
like even you see somebody that's in the streets. Eventually, you see him like, nah, bro, I'm trying to get me a job. Bro, you losing up people out here, bro. You like, nah, this ain't for me no more.
You're right, and that's why, like I said, some shit need to change as far as, like you said, the training and just communication, period, between
And it has to be some consequences for the ones that is getting away with the stuff. The cops that's getting away with it is even creating a culture of people like, even if I do this, I might be all right.
Right.
You shouldn't be able to think like that. You should be like, yo, if I do this, my life is
It's
over.
over.
There's no
They don't
punishment.
feel like that.
No.
They feel like they're protected. That's a problem.
Why? Because they do protect their people.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
That
So
shield, brother.
even that though, if,
Biggest gang.
the same way they persecute people for selling the drugs or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
the people that's getting chased down and then possibly shot or whatever, or whatever they think they're doing, if they can get the max punishment for whatever they think they're doing, then they should be able to get the max punishment
That's
for, you know what I mean? And it should be a proper investigation. All those things should be like in place because
It's weird when
it
you
would
say,
change. It would change some things if they say, "Yo, if you a cop and you do X, Y, and Z this way, and you found guilty, the gavel coming down."
yeah, it's weird when you have a police officer investigate a police officer, right?
Yeah.
And I'm
That's
thinking,
what I'm
no,
saying.
'cause I'm thinking like, damn, that could be me. I could make that job. I'm gonna go easy on board because
Yeah.
I could have did the same thing. Like
Exactly.
I did that.
At the end of the day, they all looking out for each other.
And at the end of the day, they all cops.
That shield of brotherhood is bigger than anything.
So
dog.
shout out to Martin Campbell for being a king and a guy and being a huge asset in his community. And one last thing, like Shiz was saying, if you are somewhere for 17 years in the same district, it's no way you have not become a product of that environment.
It don't matter what job you at.
Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't matter what job you at. Is no reason it should not be 3 cops that know you and know as I play in the
When
scene
the last
in
time-
Huntington Park. From the 7 to 3, 3 to 11 in the graveyard. We're talking about 3 cops out of,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not cops. We're talking about 3 police officers out of 600. Right? You've been here for 17 plus years. How are you not in tune with the community? If your main objective and goal is to protect
And sir,
and serve.
when the last time you seen a cop actually walking a beat?
Yeah. The rookies, that's it.
No, McNulty off the wire was the last time I seen one.
It doesn't happen.
Real rap.
It doesn't happen.
Yeah, I think when you look at like that term protect and serve, I don't think that term is
Nah, that's not
actually being used today.
Not at all.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
The integrity was stripped.
Protect and serve themselves.
for sure.
Yeah. Good stuff right there.
I'm trying to lock somebody up because I get this OT.
They,
Yeah.
oh man,
That's how they look at it.
I done heard some say
That's
that.
how they look at it.
Right.
I gotta make my quota by pulling people over.
What is
That
a
shit's
quota?
Right.
What is a quota?
Nah, bro, OT is serious.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we going to court?
Bro, if the fact that we can even have a conversation that, you know, that the word quota could be a thing in Philly with cops,
Yeah.
that's a bad job. I mean, you looking for something.
Yeah, yeah.
You looking for something, and it's already an uncomfortable situation. Anytime I know I see blue lights, even if they ain't for me, and
Yeah.
I ain't got nothing in my car, got a license, registration, insurance, and I still feel some. I'm be like, all right.
So what you think that come from?
Oh, I already know.
Yeah.
I already know.
Yeah.
I already know. But I ain't gonna be stupid about it either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna act accordingly.
Right.
I roll all my windows down. And
No.
you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, the fact that we have a protocol that we go through when we see police lights behind us, I can tell you tons of people that's like that don't go through
Yeah,
that same.
that don't mean
They
nothing.
go that don't go through that same process we go through when we get pulled
I
over.
work with them.
Yeah,
I work with them.
yeah.
And they don't know what we talking about.
They're like, no.
They don't even understand the feeling.
Well,
They be cursing the
well,
motherfuckers out, man.
it's the same reason
They
that
can't
they'll
wait.
go back and forth with
They
it.
can't wait till they get to the car.
Yep.
Because they got something to do.
Yep.
Why the fuck is you pulling me over?
Yep.
They attitudes is completely different.
For
Imagine
sure.
if
I
said
be
that
telling
to
my
a police
kids,
officer.
don't say nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I got to change my way of thinking because when I see a police officer behind me, I can't wait for you to pull me over so I can pop my shit. That's how I think because I don't
Shit,
care.
I mean, I just feel like I mean, for
That's just how I feel. Like what? I have a license, registration, and insurance.
and still can get shot.
Yeah.
I could get shot without the police. That's just my way of thinking.
Right? But I'm just saying, don't even don't ask for it.
No, right.
Don't ask for it.
You
Like,
keep knocking on the devil door.
I feel like
someone's gonna answer.
pull me over. Oh well, but I don't feel like all right, pull me over.
Right,
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I mean, you pull me over, you just gonna be salty.
Right.
I mean, but I'm gonna act accordingly.
Right.
Right.
Have a nice day, officer. Scared.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Give him a little hard gas joint,
Yeah.
probably a little bit. Cause you salty for real,
Yeah,
for real.
sure.
Right.
I mean, they know what it means.
Right,
They know what it
right.
means.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
ain't gotta. We
Nah,
can
he was
speak.
educated. Yeah,
We can speak.
yeah.
Yeah, we can speak without having to say any words.
Yeah.
You know what I
We
mean?
gotta keep it moving. We gotta keep it
Oh,
moving.
I am my phone.
We gonna want to go into your topic, right?
Oh man. Oh man.
Because me and my topic was like basically one and the same, so it ran into mine. So it's like,
Don't be on my topic.
yo, cool out.
Go ahead, open it up, Raz. Oh.
So, my topic. I mean, I seen a post on Instagram, and J. Cole was just basically speaking about wage slavery. You know what I mean? And you know that is completely out of pocket, and nobody should be worth what they trying to give them an hour.
Right.
And nobody can't even live off that, let alone themselves and kids.
Right.
So I teach my kids in my program about wage slavery. I teach them about where it started, from slavery to sharecropping to even the whole segregation. Like I'm going from the beginning to even now and how it correlates to today. You know what I mean? To make them understand that ain't really nothing changed, but they just got smarter, and it was 2 or 3 or maybe 10 steps ahead of us because
Right.
they stop at one thing only to bring out a whole nother joint, and it's the same thing. You know what I mean? The sharecropping joint was free labor.
Right.
You get your old crib back, we're gonna feed you. Come get your old job back, but you ain't getting no bread. You're doing the labor, and you getting paid to live, or not even getting paid. You getting food and shelter,
So
and that's not living. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's not living.
for the listeners that didn't hear, didn't see the social media post. What was the social media post?
So, I mean, it was basically what I said about the wage slavery, John. But
So
it
J.
was-
Cole was speaking
he
to
was
Andy
speaking on it.
Martinez,
right,
and
right,
he was talking about the traditional 9 to 5.
Yeah.
right, right.
Trading your time.
Trading your time for dollars.
Yeah.
And I just got like a.
So do you think, was he just referring to minimum wage, or was you referring to
More than minimum wage.
Yeah.
We weren't just speaking about the people that
Right.
make $8
It
an
has
hour.
to be
He was even talking about even if they upped it to $15 an hour, y'all gotta be like even I know people that's making $15 an hour. Even the people that's making $15 an hour right now still can't take care of a family of 3
Sure.
I feel like you can't put a dollar sign on my time.
at all. That's
But
what
we all take a dollar.
Everybody
we
gonna
all
take-
trade
every-
we all trade our time for dollars.
No, we all do it. I
It's
mean,
hard to
To understand it, but
it's hard to say it's hard
of course.
it's hard to make a statement like that when you accept a wage for
We all accept it.
No,
I
I
mean,
get it.
mean,
but so you
But
so they
matter-
did
but
so they
no
did
amount
put a
of
time
money-
on it that was good for
But
you.
no, still
no, it's still not good enough
no,
for me.
right. No amount of money is worth my time. Not at Jefferson. I work at Jefferson Hospital. I work at Jefferson.
I'm not arguing that point. I'm saying we all it's a number that they come to that we all accept to some point because we have certain things that we gotta take care of.
Yeah, without a doubt. You gotta feed.
You gotta feed the family.
Gotta feed
Right.
the family, take care of whatever you gotta take care
The
of.
question is,
The fact that they want to even pay somebody that much is my problem.
Right.
know what I
Rob,
mean?
you know who I blame? Bad word, not blame. I think it starts with the intellectuals, right?
Oh, yeah.
And let me explain this. The intellectuals have forgotten they have wisdom, right?
Right.
And in order for someone at McDonald's or Checkers or Family Dollar, in order for them to understand, you don't have to live this way. You don't have to become accustomed to this. It has to start with the people who've gone to college for 7 years, obtained master's degrees and all that, and then they become so comfortable working 9 to 5 for Geico for 40 years. Why would I change if the example is this is what the example is. So the intellectuals, right, they have to change. Because the goal growing up was never, I can't wait to grow up and get a job because I'm going to work for him forever. Everyone had a dream when they was a child. And then you forget your dream when you
Real
gain
life.
education. That's it right there. You know, like, and it's, I have a lot of friends in corporate world, not corporate world, and it's like, yo, great, you have the job, great. Is the goal really to be there for 50 years?
Should be.
It can't be.
But
Shit, it should
that's
be.
the
It should be.
mindset.
Oh,
That's the
right.
mindset
So-
of some people.
Right, yeah.
And like to Shear's point, he said that, I mean, we need what? Bus drivers and
Right, we
and
do.
need-
We do.
we need like the fast food workers because this
So I was going to chime in on that too.
Unless you want to be
Everybody
our
can't
robot.
That's a
then
fact.
coming.
or even though they should have that mindset.
Yeah.
That's a fact. But I really think that it comes down to like breaking down like what's in somebody's heart, like
Right.
quality of life, how you want to live or whatever. Like everybody don't have to have the same. Like nobody don't have to desire jet skis and
Right.
yachts and all that stuff. Like if that is what you want, that's what you value.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
value being a bus driver, then that's what you should do.
Right.
I don't
Right.
feel like nobody should be doing a job just because
Right.
they have to, but I feel like everybody should be able to do it and still get paid a living wage to be able
Yeah.
to take care of their family and not struggle check to check and not, you know what I mean? That's what I feel like when your quality of life goes down, when you living check to check and you trying to figure out things, you robbing people to pay Paul and all that.
Like
Like
you doing stuff you
Right,
doing something
so-
you honestly don't,
don't
want
want
to
to do
Alright,
because
so-
you have to.
I totally agree.
Yeah, yeah.
The one thing that I think we are all moving past is we live in a capitalist society. And when you live in a capitalist society, there's two classes. There's the rich and there's the poor.
That's it.
And depending on where you fall, you make decisions based on where you fall.
Or you managing either the rich or the poor, or you managing the poor to keep the rich rich.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
That's the middle class right there.
Absolutely, absolutely.
They the
So-
managers.
And then when you look at that, like, no matter all of us around this table, right, at some point in time, or to some degree to this point, we've all bought into what is the so-called American dream, right?
I hate that American dream.
I get it,
It's a joke.
but it's been marketed to everybody for so long that you bought into it in some shape, form, or fashion. Whether it's, if your thing is clothes, if your thing is travel, if your thing is buying homes, whatever your ambition is, to some point, that's the American dream. Because listen, if you go buy a home, you purchase debt for 30 years that you have to pay back. You're making somebody rich. You pay 2.5 times what the house was worth on the life of a loan. If you like traveling, you got to figure out how to pay for that. So that job that was $15 an hour that doesn't seem like you should be doing that, but just so it could look like you living the dream,
Right.
you'll work that job.
Right.
It's just crazy.
Some jobs can create that illusion. A lot of jobs can create that illusion.
They definitely do.
It make you feel like you're doing well.
That's true.
Yeah, just go downtown and you'll see everybody.
I work down there.
Listen, everyone puts a.
I know.
They put a suit on. They put a suit over their suit, right? To construct the happiness they have. And you know how many people are unhappy? If you take a survey, it'll probably be like 90% of people unhappy.
So I think that's most of our country, right? Because our country just says like, yo, you should work to buy the things that you want, and you just end up on a you running a rat race.
But the media and social media and whatever, they control what you like.
Absolutely.
What you like. So that's a bad
That was-
joint. That's
that
why I
was
don't really.
bullshit.
That's why I don't really
Bad.
bang with the American dream, because who American dream is it?
It's not
why-
yours.
I could live in the community I live and live a good quality of life without having a white picket fence and a 2-car garage.
For sure.
But because y'all like they paint this picture
of what
you should have, you chasing that
great.
thing your whole life, and you're
What's
never
the-
happy because
it's
you
a
think
word.
you're supposed to have something
Yeah.
that's not even probably even meant for you. There's nothing wrong
Listen.
with having the house that I live in
What's the-
right
what's-
now. But my rent paid, or my mortgage paid,
Yeah.
or all my bills is paid, and I live a good quality life. My kids don't need nothing. They educated. Why do I have to have a picket fence? I might want parking a
You know
little bit.
why?
But, you know what I mean?
Because they deem
little bit
that,
parking.
I might want some parking,
Right.
but I don't have to move somewhere else to have a good quality life.
because they deem that success.
That's the
Yeah,
part.
but
You're
they're
successful.
dictating
You're
what's
successful.
successful
Listen, you're successful when you graduate from college and you owe 150,000.
That's trash.
Then when you go get a car and owe 80,000, all this is successful. This is the picture.
To your point,
They pick.
that's
yeah.
the same thing. That's the American. That's the capitalist side of America.
Right.
I'm
okay.
selling you
Yeah,
something.
Right. I'm
You're
selling
buying
you.
your
I'm,
degree.
I'm selling you success.
Yeah, I'm buying.
Yeah.
You can attain this. You
Yeah.
just gotta buy it first.
You could be like me.
You gotta buy it first.
So it's the
Now no, not be like me because the ones, the billionaires, the millionaires, a lot of them ain't go to school.
Or they dropped out.
So the bottom line is we need to get paid more for our time, or we need to cut out.
No. We gotta get paid more than that for our time because everybody's not gonna be entrepreneurs.
Sure. I
Everybody
don't want to
not
push
entrepreneur.
that everybody should be an entrepreneur.
No,
Everybody
Most
no,
people
should.
should.
I think
more,
that
yeah.
everybody should do what their heart desires.
Yeah.
That and
That's what I think.
that eliminates the idea of money. It equates happiness.
That's where quality of life starts to take
Right,
place
right,
because
right.
you're not worrying about things that don't matter to you.
If you're doing what you love, nothing else outside that matters. I'm in the realm
and
of
you being
yeah.
fairly compensated for
Yeah.
the work that you bring.
Yeah.
in.
And you gotta start using these jobs for what they worth instead of.
Man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard to say that when you trade your time though, like because that
Right.
8 hours is a big
Bro,
chunk out of your
because
day.
the
you know?
reality is you still gotta trade the time because you gotta feed yourself and your
Absolutely.
family.
Right.
So we understand that, but we have to get to a point where we're like. So that's why I like controlling our own narrative makes the most sense for the people in our communities to start getting into businesses, so we can get in a position to pay people what they're really worth.
Right.
Or well, not even paying them what they're worth, but at least paying them something.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they can live, so they can not have to figure out what they're gonna eat.
Yeah. Let's be transparent. We're not telling nobody to quit your job right now.
Oh no, that's not even that's not
You
even.
know,
a
that's
conversation.
Nobody do that shit.
That's not logical or critical
Looking at the
thinking.
cash.
You hear this
I
thing,
mean,
you
I
know,
mean, if you
I'm
gotta-
quitting my culturally biased made me biased. I'm quitting my job. No, you're an idiot.
Yeah, don't do that. I mean, I got some things going on.
Just be happy.
And I'm not about to just quit,
Yeah.
but I'm not about to be at Jefferson for 20 years. They're not about to get 20 years of my time. Like, they got a dime already, and that's when I was done.
Right.
Got a little bit smarter.
Like
You know what I
like
mean?
she just told me, yo, 5 years at the job and you move on.
I mean,
That's how I feel though. That's how I feel about every job now. If it's not something I really want to do, like if I'm
I mean, it was a career
if
job.
it was a career job
That's one thing.
that I want to do, then yeah. But 5
Absolutely.
years I'm out.
Yeah.
I mean, we all got. I think our values are all going to be
Right,
different
right,
where
right.
we are in life.
Yeah.
But it's really just taking into account what you value most
Right.
at this point.
Right.
At this point in your life, like 60+ hours a week. That's never going to work for me. I'd rather be with my kids. I like my kids a little bit more.
Quality of life.
Quality of life.
Quality of life.
And for that, I would say is like maybe I don't make $150,000 a year.
I don't care about it.
But I'm going to be present in my kids' life.
Right.
I'm going to spend time with my wife.
Yeah.
So it's really what you value.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. And
And that's why everybody make that. Everybody got to make that own personal decision.
I've turned down overtime. I will continue to do it. You know,
Overtime is the stupidest thing ever because you tax at a higher percentage, so you really break
Well,
even.
listen, okay. Sometimes it's good for me.
No, I get it. I get it.
But
that's that same character.
But it's not. It's like you said.
No, real rap,
But
though.
listen.
I feel you,
Listen.
Mike.
That 10
That
hour.
immediately
Listen.
different than
No,
that
no,
later
right.
job.
No, but what I'm saying is that 10-hour overtime is good, but it's not better than me spending that Friday night and Saturday morning with my 2-year-old son.
Right.
Nothing can beat that.
Nothing. Yeah. Good stuff right there.
No,
Absolutely.
without a doubt.
Yeah. Sounds
Yeah,
good, man.
but treating people have to.
Appreciate you, my guy.
When you treating your time for a wage, you know what I mean? I think that these $1 million companies and, the ones that can afford to pay their employees a little, I mean, you gotta think about it, like, literally, without the people that they say at the bottom, they can't do anything. They can't sell, they can't do anything. That's who running it.
For
Like,
sure.
I work at Jefferson Hospital, I clean the operating room, and then when I want whatever, I do whatever, clean toilets, whatever. My thing is, if when we go on strike, they having a fit.
Right.
Like literally because the building, if one day of trash don't get picked up, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Right.
You breaking all the codes.
Right.
You can get you know what I mean? So like they value it more than they want to let us know.
Yeah.
Right.
They won't tell you how much
And they
need.
pay it, and I'm gonna
Yeah,
keep it a bean. Compared to what other people make, they pay
They
us
pay.
pretty good.
Right.
So they think like, all right, we giving y'all X amount of,
Right.
and it's like, no, but like for real, if all of us stop cleaning these toilets, then y'all can't make
It's
no
$1.
money.
Ain't no surgeries going down.
That's nothing gonna happen.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's gonna be they'll fall apart. They'll fall. If any I ain't telling everybody go on strike and that, but
Right.
I'm just saying like if anybody unite,
You control the power.
you control it.
You control it. Yeah.
You can dictate
But listen,
that.
I also say this too, because I always coach up my coworkers, because you really can really have a conversation. Let's say that we just using Ryan right now when you got 10 years. You could really walk into your supervisor and say, listen, I'm the most tenured person here. I perform X, Y, and Z.
Negotiate.
Bro, I need a raise. That's a realistic, like, most of us feel uncomfortable walking into asking for a raise, right? It's something you should do, like, if you, I don't know, like, you meet with your manager and he like, oh, you doing a good job.
Shit is acting crazy. You know how many people gonna be scared to ask for a raise?
But you shouldn't be.
Like, bro, I get you, but I unfortunately I work for a company that got a good union and we don't gotta fight for raises because we get one every year.
Right.
But
So
there's
you
a lot
don't.
of companies.
A lot of companies
There's
don't.
a lot of companies that's not.
Bro, you should pull board to the side. Listen, if
Yeah.
you value me as an employee, please show me in my paycheck.
And then
that's
they-
one way to.
You get that one. This is how this works, and this why people probably scared because anytime when somebody trying to do good for not only for themselves. But like when you do that, then you're challenging that narrative.
Yeah, but you
Then-
advocate for
then
yourself, not the
Bro,
entire.
the minute you advocate for yourself, it's a wrap. Because people gonna know. People's gonna know. And then that's
So
when
you
start
should.
to
So
change
you
the
should
narrative.
not.
No, I'm saying
yeah.
that a lot of people know that like, oh, he asked for a raise, he got it. Oh, I'm trying to get mine now.
Right.
Oh,
No,
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 let's
no.
give it to all of them.
Right.
Yeah. But
gonna
I'm
start
saying
off-
if you are a high performing worker,
Yeah. And everyone's not.
right? If you not,
So don't ask.
don't go in there.
Don't ask for a raise, bro.
Don't go in there.
You've been late and you call out
Yeah.
every Friday.
Bro, this
you
is not for
fool.
you.
It's not
Look,
for you.
all right, let me tell y'all something about the person that.
Let's get him out of here so we
Yeah.
can split this
No,
three ways.
right.
See, that's a bad joint though. That's a bad joint though. I'm gonna tell you why. Because the person that y'all saying get him out of here, they think like what we thinking like about their time and how they being valued. So they give them what you just said. Give the jobs what they give you.
Yeah.
So,
But you can-
if you giving the bare minimum.
Well, you
if
should
give me
understand-
the bare minimum. I'm giving you the bare minimum
Yeah,
to keep
right.
my job.
Well, you should
So-
understand.
So,
when
you
he-
can't say
No.
Don't be like that. No, like
No,
if you get a raise, we doing the same job. I want a raise, so I don't care if you doing extra.
Right.
If you want to jump on the top of the wall and do it, and that's not in our job description, that's on you.
Right,
I'm gonna
but-
do the bare minimum, and if you get a raise, I want one.
I'm saying the job don't
That's
got.
true.
I'm saying the job don't got to.
That's how employees act.
That's exactly what
And
it
I'm
is.
saying the job has the right to say, like, listen, looking at your attendance here, I'm
Right.
denying your claim.
Right,
The
right.
job also has that right. Like, what you
All
gonna
right,
do?
but what about all the people that want the raise that do good, or look that got good attendance?
I'm only saying who you are. Advocate for yourself.
Right.
Ain't no advocating for yourself. Once you get it, it's a wrap.
We gotta keep
And
it
how
moving.
long?
Listen,
We
the
gotta keep it
manager
moving.
got to deal with them. I don't have to deal with them. What's the next topic?
We
man?
gotta keep moving. We're gonna go to guard.
The big thing for me, right, is we're all culturally biased. We do we do the shop series, The World in Color, right? How can we push the culture forward if majority of people don't know what culture is, right? It's like, how do you define culture? You can look it up, right? And when you look it up, the definition is not going to really constitute with what people think it is. So how do you but before you can push the culture forward, before you can help the culture, people have to know what culture is. And truly, culture doesn't even exist. It's a myth. It's a man-made concept. And the biggest thing about culture is how fitting culture is bias. That's what true culture is. It's bias of other people's perspectives, and that's what it is. You know, that's the question. What is culture? Culture is not how I wear my pants or how I cook my chicken or anything in that nature. That isn't culture. That's what I'm sorry, that's what they lead you to believe. But if you really look up what culture is, you'll take a step back and be profound. Like, what have I been thinking this whole time?
Yeah, I mean, they defined it as
Right.
like music, art.
Right.
They all play a part in the culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything, art, music, what else? Traditions.
Right.
That maybe your culture or someone else's culture does. That's as far as like I know, and what you said, it's being man-made.
Man-made concept.
that does
That's what
take
it
it to a
is.
deep perspective.
Right.
This is what you think culture is.
Right.
It's it's an object. Or
Cultures,
something.
you know, it just mentioned, it's a trend. That's what it is.
I mean,
and
that's
people
what it
don't want to say it.
I would slightly disagree with that. Culture, I mean,
It's okay. You can.
no, I mean, because Mexican culture is completely different from African American culture.
But you're labeling it. I don't want to know what Mexican culture is. I don't want to know what Caucasian or African culture is. I want to know what culture is. It's a shared system of beliefs and practices that's long established and is passed down to generation. What does that mean? So because
Everything he just named,
but
music, art, food,
okay,
traditions.
okay. So
I mean, that's what they
so what?
define it
Okay.
as. And like you said.
So what does it mean,
yeah,
though?
that's what I'm saying. I feel like you got a point if they just a man-made just label it like, oh, this must be a cultural thing if
But-
you guys eat
Right.
this type of food.
So
if you do
culture
this type
is-
of artwork.
Right. So that's culture is culture is what my great grandfather liked and loved. I must like and love.
No, that's not culture.
Why? It's generational. What is culture?
No,
I don't like
I
the
mean,
same thing.
I mean, culture sometimes it got to do with origin, where you from, what food grow in that area, all that type of stuff.
I could.
Listen,
The
Philly,
sound of the music.
Where are you from? You don't even know where you're from.
but Philly culture would be using
What?
the word.
No one knows where that. Where you
Listen,
from?
Philly culture would be
You
using
wanna?
the word.
We could take it there.
We the only people that
Yeah.
use the word
Right,
joint.
yeah,
That's
right.
Philly culture.
Where are you? I'm sorry. Where are you from?
I know for a fact where I came from.
Where?
From out my mom. That's one thing I do know.
Okay.
That's a fact.
Listen. I work with people who are from Africa, right? And we have conversations. And you know what he says to me? He said to me the other day. He said, "You people laugh at us all the time, but if something goes wrong right now with your government," he said, "I'm going back home." He said, "You're not. You don't know where you're from. You're not from Hunting Park. You're not from Philadelphia. You don't know where you're from." So how is this part of culture? So part of your culture is the genesis of where you're from, and no one knows where they're from. And that's a great answer what you said. You said, "I'm from my mother's womb." That's 100% accurate, right? And if you go ask someone that's not from America, you know they're going to tell you, "I'm from Ghana. I'm from Israel. I'm from here. I'm from a village here."
Yeah, but
You
that's-
don't know where you're from.
This is this a completely different conversation from the culture
No,
conversation?
no, that was part of his answer. Part of his answer is culture is where I'm from. I'm like, well, where are you from?
I don't think I said that.
I'm pretty sure.
Somebody said it, but probably wasn't. me.
Okay, I'm pretty sure. But that's just. But still, yeah. So it's culture.
Yeah, I feel like you made a point.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as them putting a label on what culture could be,
Yeah.
but there is maybe. A
And so you
deeper-
saying like culture is like a
It don't
stereotype?
exist?
No, culture is a man-made concept, just like race.
Everything
It
is
doesn't
man-made.
exist. Everything's not man-made, and everything is man-made in theory, but it's not man-made. Why does it matter? That's the deeper
Why does
meaning.
culture matter?
Why does anything matter but you? Why?
So why are we here? If
Why?
nothing matters.
No, I said.
Why- I'm just saying, why would we have this conversation
No,
if nothing matters?
no. You're moving too fast. I said nothing matters but you. Your rebuttal can't be, so why are we here? You're contradicting
I'm
the
not
premise.
the- I'm not
why
the only thing that matters.
You're here, right, for yourself. You're here for your children. You are here to be. Don't attach nothing onto you, because once you do that, now you.
So you have no culture?
You're messing up the moment. I don't know what culture is. You've yet to tell me what culture is. What is culture?
We've said it.
What? Who said what?
Mott said everything Mott said.
So you
Music,
don't believe you're a
art.
part of a culture?
What is culture? I asked a simple question.
Well, I can't tell you what your culture is.
Music,
So what's
food.
culture to you?
Music, art, food.
Okay.
Right, like
traditional things.
So culture is what they told you it was.
No, culture is what I define as my culture. Hip hop is my culture.
You
the
just-
food that I eat is my culture. The music that I listen to is my culture. The art that I like is my culture.
That someone else did
think they
before.
did.
Nobody gave it to me. The graffiti on the wall that I buy as art is what I like because it's from my culture, the neighborhood that I grew up in. The art that's in my house is a lot of street art from
Okay.
graffiti artists. The music that I like is the rappers that grew up in the
That's
same streets
considered
that I grew
culture.
up is my culture.
That's considered cultural.
So it's.
I
so
don't
it's-
listen to-
so it's-
I
it's
don't
what
listen
was-
to-
it was-
you don't
it's-
listen to country music.
I don't listen to
because
country
that's
music
not
because it's
part
not my
of your
culture.
Because it wasn't passed down to you.
No, hip hop wasn't passed down to me. My pop doesn't live to hip hop. Listen to hip hop.
So
It
you
wasn't
just,
passed down
so
to
you
me.
was just sitting
I
down one
absorbed,
day
I
and you just heard
absorbed
it.
that in my culture.
Let
The
me
same
ask this
reason-
question. Let me ask this question. So, if somebody that's white grew up next door to me,
Alright.
is he a part of the culture?
Yeah.
He can say he takes part in your culture because he lives in your neighborhood.
Can he say he
Yeah,
is?
he did.
Is he?
Yeah.
Not that he.
Yeah.
Like
That's
not,
Ryan, that's the greatest, excuse my language, that's the greatest fucking question I heard all week. Right?
I mean,
and the
can
answer
he say that?
and the
And
answer
we
is
gonna-
and
we
the
gonna accept
answer
him?
and the answer is yes or no. Is he the part of your culture? And you're afraid to answer it, not you, but the masses are going to be afraid to answer it. You know why? Because you attached white to that person.
Yeah,
That's
I mean-
why. That's why.
I think that's our
That's
American culture.
That's
is,
our
though.
problem.
That's a
That's
part
our
of
problem,
American culture,
Ryan.
though.
Bro,
That's
you-
our problem.
but listen,
Culture
listen.
has done nothing but divided us. That's what culture has done. It's divided us and it's created hate. That's what it's done. That's what it's
I don't
done.
know if it don't have to create hate, because if the word culture was never a word, right, and nobody
Right.
never had to say it,
Okay.
we would still see the difference in people and
Yes.
groups of people.
Because
So-
there's food that grows in your area of the world that
Yeah,
doesn't
that
grow in
don't
my
grow in
area of the
right.
world.
So it's
So it wasn't culture. It was referred before culture was pop culture. To use the word culture, it was customs. It's the same thing. We share customs.
the same
The
customs.
Aztecs had customs. They chopped your head off and sacrificed you to the sun god.
Right.
That's a custom.
Right.
Only
part of
defined by
someone's
their
culture.
culture.
All right, so back to the question though.
Where is culture?
That-
I
if
read your
dropped the white
definition.
person,
I
grew up in
feel
Hunter
like
Park next to me.
not him being. I feel like not him being of the culture, but adopting it, and I feel like that's what majority of people do from.
I see
from
you,
us. They
Ryan.
adopt.
Bro,
I see your face, Ryan.
But listen,
You can't tell that man that was raised next door to me that don't know nothing else.
Now
but
we're
this.
hitting all
You're not
the
telling me-
cylinders.
Huh?
Now,
He
yeah.
adopted the
But-
culture, like you.
I'm just saying.
But he was
So
saying he's
if
he's
I'm
of the
growing up
culture.
and I'm adopting a culture,
So that
Ryan,
he can
this
go
is why
around
culture
saying that
isn't
he-
real.
So he
Thank
can go
you.
around
I'm
saying
just-
that
I'm just-
as
this is
black
food
as
for
you,
thought. This is
'cause
me
I
being-
do the same thing you do in
Right.
your culture.
Right.
I
Okay.
eat soul food. I listen to rap. I hoop. I do all that. I got. Basquiat
so it's
wings,
so-
all-
so-
am I?
so to-
I am
wait,
I of
wait,
your
wait.
culture, or am I just adopting it?
Is pig feet part of your culture? You.
Yes.
Yes. Do I
Pig-
eat pig feet?
Pig feet
No,
is
it's
listen.
not.
Let me
Hey,
tell you
like,
something.
You might be on to
Let,
something.
let me
right?
tell you something, Mitch. Pig feet is not part of Michael Paul Campbell's Jr. culture.
Right. It's not part of my culture.
Well, you just said
I
it
don't-
was. No,
but
no,
it's
but
part
you
of my
just said it
culture.
was.
It's
But
part
you
of my
don't-
culture.
Why?
You
Why?
don't partake
Why?
in it.
Why?
But I
Because
don't
why?
partake in it, right.
Why? Because you're black. That's why
But
pig
why
feet.
is it part of?
Because
why
you're
did-
black.
Why was it
So-
put
so-
on us?
No,
as
no,
part
no,
of
it's-
culture?
listen.
It was put on
Mike,
us.
Mike on to something.
So
Yeah,
listen,
that's
listen.
what I'm telling
Mitch,
you.
so
It
Mitch-
is a man,
right,
he-
right. So,
he's right with
so,
that.
so Mitch, what
But-
I'm saying is, pig feet is part of African Americans' culture for two reasons. Either because it was passed down from tradition from the plantation when we was fed pig feet, right? You know what I'm saying? Or
Hey, Mike, if you on to something,
No, listen. To speed up.
I just try to have a higher level of
To
thinking
speed up.
today.
So how would you identify yourself with our culture?
I am. You seem flabbergasted.
No, I'm not flabbergasted.
I am. I don't attach nothing to me. I am.
You do attach something to you. You have a last name, right?
I am.
You have a last name, right? Who's your last name from?
It doesn't matter.
It does matter, because it's the same way you
Why?
denied his question
Why?
when he said he came out of his mother's womb.
I
and you
didn't
don't know where
deny
he's
that.
from.
I didn't deny that.
No,
I said
no,
that
no.
was great.
he said it was 100%.
I said
I
100%
got
right.
that, right.
Slow
But he
down.
said you didn't know where you were from.
He doesn't.
Exactly. The name that you have, where's that origin from?
I don't care. I don't know. I am.
You moving a line. You moving
How?
a line. It's just moving the goalposts. You
How?
moving the goal- It's the same thing. It's the
How?
same argument.
He told me
If
where
you say
he. Time
he
out.
doesn't
Wait
know
a
where
minute.
he's from-
Listen. No, he told me
You-
where
you
he was
carry-
from. Listen. He said where he was from physically. That's where he told me.
But you told him he doesn't know where he's from.
No, he doesn't. His answer of
Was
where he was
100%
from.
right.
I said one thing. I said, Ryan, that's 100% right. You are.
But you don't know where you're from.
You're from your mother's womb. He gave me the physical element of his being.
Right, and then you told him he doesn't know where he's from.
And he has yet to answer that question.
But you carry the name that you don't know where it's from.
What name? I didn't ask him what his last name
No,
from.
I'm saying you.
Right.
No,
No,
the name
you-
that you said.
No,
Michael
you-
Paul Campbell
yeah,
Jr. That
right.
last name, you do not know where it's from, but you carry it.
Oh, we do know where our last name's from. Come on, that's common knowledge. Our last names descend from our from the masters.
So you have no culture?
I am. I have nothing but self. I am. I represent what I am, and I am what I am. I am.
That culture, John.
Come
that's
on,
a
man.
serious John,
Yeah,
because
it needs
now,
to be. It needs to be a part
I'm
two.
gonna keep it a being. Now got me thinking like,
Yeah, and that's listen.
when
and,
you say to separate people, culture does
Yeah.
separate people. And,
Yeah, it
and
does.
I made that a fact when we said we drop a white person right,
Right.
next. That separated him
That was
from the
awesome.
culture, and then you
That
said
was awesome.
adopt the culture. So I'm like,
yeah,
damn.
yeah. So now,
But we all cool
Listen,
with culture.
he
Everybody
protected
running with
the
the word
culture.
culture so bad
yeah.
now. like,
It
culture,
makes Ryan,
culture,
Ryan.
culture.
It makes me sick.
It's really
It makes
that
me want to
culture.
vomit.
That's true.
It makes me want to vomit, and I love when Shiz opens up and he says, "I'm for the culture. We are the culture. Everything but the vultures." And the truth.
Everybody
is
vultures.
We are all vultures now, bro. We're all vultures now. And that question you said, it's like, and I
Bro.
love Mitch. I love Mitch's integrity. He said,
Listen.
no, he's not part of the culture. He adopted it.
Listen, everybody.
I love it.
So listen,
I love
I
that.
don't think that's fair.
Right.
It's not fair.
But listen,
But,
hold,
but
hold,
love is integrity, though.
hold,
My
listen,
fault, Shiz. Go ahead.
hold,
I'm sorry.
Hope, we adopt their culture when we walk into our 9-to-5s. When you interview for that, you adopt their culture.
Okay.
We all have to shapeshift.
Okay.
Listen, that's what we had to do
Yeah.
to survive out here. You all have to adjust on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't carry myself the same way I carry myself here to a certain degree in there. You got to adjust.
Wow.
In an interview,
Okay.
you're not going in there like, bro, I ain't really here. I'm not really fucking with this job because y'all
Yeah.
only paying $15,
Yeah.
but I'm here.
No,
The way I want to tell you,
No,
like,
but
I don't really
actually-
fuck with this job.
Yeah, but
I
no,
don't
but,
give him my whole spiel, right?
I think that's a difference between having to and wanting.
but he's good. That what he said
because
was
what
good.
you saying is having to because
Yeah, we're chameleons now.
We
So
still gotta
culture.
eat.
Listen, so Ryan,
Right,
culture's
talking
being a
about-
chameleon. You have to adapt. I'm not adapting. I am the adaptation. You're gonna adapt to what I am. I am light. I am love. I am wisdom. I am.
Mike's not one.
I'm not.
But we do adopt.
Some of us do. I know Ryan, and I know he's the same way everywhere he goes.
That's a fact.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
we do adopt to some.
No,
form.
and I got you.
Like when a police officer pulls us over, I don't give him
No,
Yeah.
I adopt.
I adopt.
I
I
adopt.
adopt.
Definitely adapt.
Yeah. Adapt
because
to
I
what?
don't want to be a part of the culture of another black man dead by a cop that didn't know how to react to me.
No, you don't want no. You
I
don't want
adopt.
to. You don't want to be part of the culture of being ignorant.
No.
What?
It wouldn't be ignorant for me to
Because-
question why he pulled me over.
So what do we do when the police officers pull us over? We put on the cloak of speaking intellectually. You should always
no.
speak like that.
I don't.
Okay,
don't.
so that means you don't adopt.
I really don't
You
even
remain
talk.
who you are.
But you don't. Listen, as aggressive you would be with another person,
Absolutely.
you
Right.
don't give that same
Absolutely.
aggression
So-
back. You
so
adopt.
I don't say I'm adapting in the area that I have to say
to survive.
That's
To
it.
survive.
So I'm like,
Is it the cop or is it the gun? Which one? What makes you adapt? Is it the
cop.
Is it the cop?
the
Okay.
gun-
All of it.
All of it.
The cop. I mean, everybody know like the gun is harmless. Is the person that got the gun.
behind the guy.
Right.
Is the person that got the gun. The mentality of and the climate of what's going on in the media and what everybody able to see now that we wasn't able to see because we didn't have social media back then.
Right.
Now it's like regular and it's in our face. And I'll be damned if I'm a victim of it when I see it every day. And I can probably do something a little bit different that may let me drive away from this joint.
Right. Can I ask you a question?
You know what I mean?
Is watermelon part of your culture? I never ate watermelon in my life.
Watermelon definitely part of
So listen.
Make sure y'all season.
Oh,
you the one without the season, bro.
Listen. You know what? I guess I gotta. You said season it. I gotta try this.
without
the ones with
seeds.
seeds.
It's an organic seedless watermelon. What is that?
That's-
That's
no,
another
that's not
topic.
real.
Yeah.
Anything that
Another
don't
time
have
for another
seeds,
Yeah.
it's not real.
No, but that it's the signs this big. Seedless organic watermelon.
So
What
possible.
Get out of my face, Whole Foods. What are you doing? That doesn't even.
Uneducated.
So you feel like culture is you, just
I don't care
whatever you embody.
You don't think the word exists?
I think Mike
hold on.
define the culture for himself.
Listen,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But I think we all do that to a certain degree. That's why we all gravitate to a certain music. We all here for a reason, right? Those things in our culture affect us that we come together to talk about.
This is the essence of my question. Me becoming a better me. I'm in a state of elevating and evolving. And I can't do that unless I find out who I am. I just wrote something on Instagram. I cannot sketch who I am until I erase who I am not. Right? So all these things I have to pit in that pot of stew and just let it brew.
Where you find yourself at?
I'm in the process of finding it.
No, I'm saying like, where do you go to find yourself?
Right now?
You personally.
Me personally, it's a multitude, it's different spectrums, it's different dimensions, and one of the dimensions is spiritually. I have to find.
That's all I was trying to figure out.
Come on, man. You know it
I
always
just
starts.
wanted-
It
I
always.
just wanted you to
Come
run that
on,
joke
man.
one time.
Come on. It always. It has to start with him. Yeah. I'm sorry, Victor Rubin. I'm sorry. It was. We got there. It was going there. It was divine order.
All right, let's.
Yeah.
We'll make this one brief. Last topic of the night, I talked about. Wanted to talk about goal setting and accountability amongst us as black men. So I'll just share my thoughts and then we can open it up. I think it's important for wherever we are in our life, right? All of our journeys are completely different, but I think it's important for you to have goals that are set for short term, long term, and then like a 5-year plan, right? And I think it's important for you to share those goals. Like if I'm talking to Ryan on the phone, I need to share my goals with you
Accountability.
so you can hold me accountable when you check in 90 days. Like, bro, did you drop that 10 pounds?
Right.
Did you save that 5K?
Yeah.
I think we need to do more of that. So a lot of us will say like, yeah, I got goals, but I think if your goals aren't written down or spoken aloud, they don't really exist. So for all of us, we just need to figure out how to set goals and then be accountable for those goals. So that means you gotta show yourself a little bit, right? Because you gotta make yourself vulnerable. If it's a high goal, right? If you say I want 5 centers, that's a high goal. But you're making yourself vulnerable by exposing yourself to somebody else by saying it's 5 goals.
Without
Now
a
you
doubt.
can't just go.
Now
Now
you
you
gotta
can't just
push
go in the
for
house
it.
and watch
Chill.
Netflix.
Right.
We're right.
Right.
But what do you do if you do all that and then you don't?
You set more
achieve
goals.
the goals?
Oh, I'm gonna tell you what you do. Cause I'm glad y'all said that. I think that
If
I was-
tell you
when I was
in 5
here,
years I want to do this.
I was
and
here-
it Don't pan out. Like what?
I'm gonna tell you. Well, I was here probably how long ago?
Maybe
4 months ago.
4 or 5 months ago.
And I gave y'all a date for the center.
Right.
It didn't happen.
What's the deadline?
I missed 2 deadlines.
But it was Valentine's Day, and then it was April. Somewhere April.
I missed 2 deadlines that I put out there, but you think I was sitting back not trying to get it? I was trying to get it,
Right.
and it didn't happen. So what I'm gonna do? Quit? No. I set another deadline for myself.
So it's not bad. It's not.
I'm just saying that
You're
for
not.
somebody.
No,
who
you.
would-
It's not a. It's not a failure if you miss your goal, right? I got some lofty goals. I'm not gonna hit them.
Right.
You
It
just
takes
reset.
a long time to get
Yeah.
to that mindset, though. That's not like
No, but that's why we gotta talk about it, though.
Yeah.
You have to. You have to have goals, right? If it's 2019 and you have 0 goals, or you accomplished 0 since January 1st, kill yourself, man, or
No,
go
but
back
look,
to sleep.
I think that we don't have lack of creating goals. I think people make goals all the time.
Make attainable goals.
I mean, whether
some
they're attainable or
unattainable
not,
ones.
whether they're attainable or not, I think people make goals at least every year, once a year.
Right.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that don't last.
Right. However, but you know what I mean, it's watered down.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's this year I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z, and nobody really push for it. I think that what we need to focus on is kind of like pushing people to that, like what you're saying, like the goal thing. That's the easy part. People gonna make goals. Everybody got goals. Everybody, I can lead a day and make another goal.
It's falling.
It's
through with
it's
them.
falling through with them, and I think that.
But I don't think everybody do have
accountability
goals,
factor
right?
is I think so.
To some degree, right?
No,
Let's-
it's some-
look,
it's some
to some
big-
degree, right? If you
That
talk,
don't have no goals.
let's go. Let's
Whatever you think
Right.
their goal
Right.
is not, even if their goal
Right.
is
I
listen,
don't.
today I'm gonna smoke weed.
right.
Yeah.
It's a goal.
Listen.
You put that as a all right.
It's a goal.
Let's fall
but
back.
you can't say that's not a goal because you don't live that life or that's not where you at.
I don't-
If somebody want to smoke weed every single day and they don't got no money and their goal is to be like, I'm gonna smoke weed today, they're trying to figure out how to smoke some weed. That's a goal.
But this is why I say the importance of goal setting, right? We go back to the earlier topic of the 9 to 5 of being wage slavery. You are at a position that is not fulfilling your cost of living.
That's a fact.
And people will stay in these positions because they believe that they don't deserve anything more. If you set a goal, you don't got to get another job because your education may limit you there, so you may not get another job that's going to pay you $20,000
I
more.
think that's more of a hurdle than
Right.
not
But you
believing
could
they
say,
deserve. I think people think they deserve. I don't think people believe in themselves enough to go get it.
absolutely, and
That's
that's where
what I
the
think.
goals and accountability will help you, because you could sew pocketbooks together and make an extra $300.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a
Right.
doubt.
But if you set a
people
goal,
don't believe in themselves enough
absolutely.
to do it.
Right, for me, I don't have goals. I don't want goals, and I don't believe in goals. I believe in accomplishments, and I feel that way.
That's a mindset.
Listen, yeah, and let me say,
still have
listen,
goals, though,
I
man.
don't.
To get to accomplishment, you have to have a goal.
I don't have goals. You know why I don't have goals? Because you put time.
What is that?
on
What
the
is an
goals.
accomplishment without a goal?
Well,
Yeah, you have to have a
I gotta explain myself.
I'm sorry,
So-
I don't
so-
want to jump on you like that.
No,
man.
that's cool. You can do it. Yeah, I'm fine. So what I'm saying is, okay, maybe it's the same thing, maybe it's not. But what I won't do is put a time table on anything because time doesn't exist. Tomorrow 5 minutes from now doesn't exist. It's only a thought, right? It's the future. The past is the past. Right, 5 minutes from now is only a dream. It's only a thought. It only becomes reality in that moment. You're only in that moment. And I'm saying this to constitute what you said about I missed my goal. You didn't. You did what you were supposed to do because you are only the moment. So you put the time. Well, I was here 4 months ago, and the time was going to be this. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's going to happen when it happens. And I'm not saying don't be lazy and don't attack every day vigorously with ambition. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is...
It's easier to do that with deadlines.
Listen. What I'm
That's
saying
what I'm
is...
about to say.
It's
Listen.
easier to do that with deadlines.
That's a mindset shit.
If
My
you get to a
mindset is
point-
geared to deadlines. Your
Right.
mindset is meant to just straight accomplishments. So you're not worrying about time for you, and that might work for you to get to where you're going. But for me, I need to smack that joint, and I need to be held accountable for it.
But where are you going? Because even when you get to that point, you're not finished. You get to that point, and then
You're not
it's like...
finished until you go in that grade, bro.
Right. So it doesn't matter.
It matters.
To me, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. Time and goals doesn't matter. I can only be the best version of me in that moment. So that's why I say accomplishments.
That's a mindset change.
Okay.
It's still.
Well, I
it's
told you I'm
yeah,
still.
yeah.
Well, what did I tell you though earlier? 10 minutes ago,
Yeah.
I said I'm in the process
Yeah.
of evolving.
No,
You
that's
still
good.
agreeing.
That's good.
Yeah.
You still agreeing to a point where you're just looking at it
Uh,
reverse
uh,
engineering.
yeah,
You reverse engineering.
Absolutely.
You're looking at the finish line versus
Reverse-
getting to the.
reverse engine. Every time I see this guy, he gives me
No,
something.
you reverse engineer because you look
I don't
at.
even know what that means, but I'm taking
I'll
it.
tell you. You are looking at the finish line without
Right.
focusing on the start.
Okay.
You reverse engineer. You doing it from the end
Right.
to the beginning.
Okay.
It's the same thing. It's reverse engineering.
Okay.
That's how you get going. But for him, he says deadlines. For me, it's deadlines.
Right.
And if you miss a deadline, it's just resetting.
So the question is that is it a bad thing? I don't have a 10-year goal.
No, it's not a bad thing. It's a short-term goals and long-term goals are good
Okay.
in theory.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, I care more about the accountability part now. I just hate to see
Okay.
us out here
Right.
with no goals, and you say, this is my man, this is my ace, this is my ride or
Right,
die,
right.
and he has no idea what your goal is
Yeah.
in the next year.
Right. You're just
That
out,
makes no
yeah,
sense.
Yeah, you're just out here.
You're out here just living.
You're just,
That makes no sense.
You're haphazardly probing through society.
You should know what's going on in your man life. Like,
Right, yeah.
no, because I want to tell you, like,
Or
bro,
they ain't your man.
yeah, I want to tell you, like, bro, like, 2 bottles, bro. You told me you was trying to buy a crib this year.
Facts. And that's
Oh,
the
that's-
problem.
no, no,
Listen,
no, no,
right,
no.
that's the problem I said earlier about integrity. You know how many people, this is my bro, this is my day one, this is my man. You know his goal is to get healthier. And you with him, and you're doing everything that's not helping him get healthier. How is this your man? This is your bro. You know what I'm saying? My mom had liver cancer, right? So you're not drinking soda. You're not eating meat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Without a doubt.
If my man, he got lung cancer, but I'm
Smacking that joint
I'm
out
still
of
going to
hand.
buy you cigarettes and smoke with you.
Right.
I'm your man.
accountability.
I'm helping you kill yourself.
But that's why a lot
So
of
don't
people
cry
tell-
at his funeral, nigga.
That's why a lot of people don't tell each other their goals
Right.
and aspirations
Because
because they're
yeah.
afraid. They're
Yeah.
afraid of it. They're afraid of being held accountable, and they're afraid of even attempting to accomplish.
Men don't want to be men anymore.
But this is us, right? This is us. Listen, we have too much ground to cover in too little time.
Right.
I got to tell you my goals.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
I got too much ground
And-
to cover, and I'm starting the race 40 yards behind, maybe 100.
Not even. My goals already out there. Now I'm on some. What shit, John? Like, what you sitting around here for?
Right.
You just sitting around. Like, what you want to do? Like, what shit? Like, I go at. First of all, that's how I go at the kids when I meet them. Anyway, like, what you good at? What can you do?
Right.
What comes naturally to you? What makes you happy?
Right.
You know what I mean? Let's get into. The first day I meet them, I want to get into quality of life to change their perspective.
Right.
You know what I mean? On how they're going to take care of their families.
Right.
Because so they won't have to worry about wage slavery. Because it won't feel like that, even if you're not getting paid as much as you would like to or what you really worth, but the quality of life changes when you doing something that you want to do.
Yeah.
Right.
It don't matter how much you make. Money don't matter.
Right.
It
so
doesn't. You want to
Yeah.
obtain something no one can take from you.
Absolutely.
Fact.
And that's
Fact.
wisdom. That's
Un-
love. That's peace. That's
discernment.
freedom.
Yeah, discernment.
Episode 35, Culturally Biased, The World in Color.
Yes, sir.
It's a great conversation. Rate, review, subscribe. Give us some feedback.
Without a doubt.
You know where to find us. We'll be back here next week. We out of here.
Awesome.
Without a doubt.
I need my clap, too.
That's a good job.